Hi friends, welcome back to Backyard Homestead. Today we're going to make two different batches of bagel dough. One is a Panera Copycat of their cinnamon crunch bagel. And then the other one I'm going to split in two and do everything bagel and a cheddar garlic bagel. So let's start with that one. So we've got our warm water. I'm going to check the temperature because my water comes out hot. Let's see what temperature our water is. $109. Yeah, we want it to be like 110. Okay, perfect. So it says to pour out a half a cup of the water and put the yeast in. So I'm going to switch it for this big one. Let's do a half a cup. So we'll pour that. There we are. And we set the rest aside. Okay, and to that half a cup, we're going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast and 2.5 teaspoons of granulated sugar. So 2 teaspoons of yeast and 2.5 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Let it sit for 5 minutes and then mix it. So there's our 2 teaspoons of yeast. I keep my yeast in the freezer so that it stays fresh. And 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. And this one just so happens to have a 1/2 tablespoon measure. So there's a tablespoon. And then here's a 1/2 tablespoon. None of my other measuring cup or spoons have a 1/2. That's cool. Okay, there's that. We'll let it sit 5 minutes. 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. And you may need extra for kneading. And then 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And a little bit of oil for the bowl. Okay, there's 1 and 2. I'm gonna need more flour before I do the next one. Good thing I got a giant bag of it. Okay, there's 3. Okay, 3.5. And it says to, oh wait, first we gotta mix in the salt. And then it says to make like an indent. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. There's 1 teaspoon. 1/2. All right. If you can see, I'm just kind of mixing it around with my hand just to get the salt mix in. And then it says to make a well, like a little hole, like so. And that's what we're going to put our yeast in. I'm waiting 5 minutes and it says to stir it. I think it's been long enough. To me, it looks like it's just like clumping at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and stir it. And then I'm going to wait a few more minutes to let it activate more. Let's give it a few minutes to bloom. I'm going to refill my flour, and then we'll be back to mix it all up. How easy is that? It's just salt, sugar, yeast, and flour. Simple. Okay, our yeast has proofed. Sorry, moving the camera a little. So we're ready. See, it's all bubbly and foamy. We're ready to pour it in the little well that we made here. Get it all in there. And we've already got our salt in there. We're ready to start mixing. Oh, it would help if I plugged it in. I'm going to put it on the second one. See if we can move you in. All right, it's already, now we do have the rest of the water. Oh no, we did use the rest of the water. Okay, so it says if you have to add more water, that you can. I'm just going to let it mix and see how it does. We may end up having to add just a, there. One good thing about this is the mixer does most of the kneading for you. Okay, there we go. There's still a little bit at the bottom that we want it to get. I'm gonna add a drop more just to get that bottom stuff. Just gonna let it keep mixing. Well, that doesn't seem like very much dough. I think it said it would made 8 bagels, so maybe I should have doubled it. Let me get it onto a floured surface and knead it a little. Okay, we've got our floured surface. Let's put our dough. And we're basically just gonna kind of knead it like that a little bit. Just work it in a little. I mean, the mixing did a lot of it, so we don't have to do much. I want it to be a nice, soft dough. Feels really good, actually. Just gonna put it in an oiled bowl and let it rise. Let me turn the oven light on. Having the oven light on just creates a little bit of warmth, and that really helps. Oh, it's really a soft dough. I think it's pretty good. I don't want to overwork it and make it tough. Okay, we've got our bowl, and it's already oiled, so I'm going to set it in there, let this get all oily, and then flip it over, just like that. See how it's a little oily on top so it doesn't dry out? And let's get that in the sink. We'll cover it and let it rise for an hour. And I just cover them with a cotton cloth like that. And in the oven with the light on for an hour. And you want it to double in size. All right, now we'll get started on the next recipe. Hello everyone. Part 2 of our bagel making. We're gonna make the dough for the Panera Copycat Cinnamon Crunch Bagel. So we'll start off, I've got the water running to get hot. We're gonna start off with the yeast mixture. We're going to add 1/4 cup of honey, 1.5 cups of warm water. I'm going to go ahead and put the honey first because I'm going to use this other measuring cup for the water. Okay, there we have it. 1/4 cup. Get all that good honey out. And this is a wildflower honey, that's why it's so dark. Desert wildflower. Yummy. Let's do 1.5 cups of warm water. So let's stir that. Stir the honey and water mixture, which is 4.5 teaspoons. Now it calls for rapid yeast, fast yeast. And the one I use is, I think it's like it's not the instant yeast, so that's why we're doing it in the bowl. If you have the instant yeast, you can mix everything right in the mixer. But we want to proof the yeast first. Okay, so it's 4.5 teaspoons of yeast. Okay. There's 1/2 teaspoon and then 1 teaspoon, so we'll do 4 of those. Give it a stir. You don't really have to stir it much, just enough to mix it in there. And the honey, sugar and honey help the yeast bloom better. give that about 5 minutes to bloom. So while that's working, let's get into this flour. Now this recipe calls for bread flour, whereas the other one was all-purpose. So get the bread flour. This thing's supposed to go right here and it always falls off. Built-in leveler. Okay, so ask for 4 1/8 of a cup of bread flour. So 1/8 of a cup is 1 ounce or 2 tablespoons. So let's do the 4 cups. I like to fluff mine first. So there's 1. 2. 3. 1 more. 4. And then the 1/8 will be 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. And wow, is that yeast already bubbling? And 2. Okay, that's all the flour we need. And remember, that one's bread flour. And it's a tablespoon of salt. That's quite a bit. Need to refill the salt. There we go. Tablespoon of salt. And then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Then we're also going to need cinnamon for the topping. It's a crunch topping. Teaspoon. All right. I'm going to give that a mix before we add our yeast and stuff. Okay, let's close her down. Turn it on low. Our yeast is nice and bubbly. Oops, it's getting on the hook thing. I'm going to just pour it all in there. Hopefully you guys can see it good. Let's go up to the next one. It's looking a little dry. I'm going to give it a little more water. Tiny bit. It smells good and cinnamony. Oh, and the honey is going to make it really good. And just let it mix around and knead the dough for a few minutes. Maybe on low will be better. It'll just knead it around. Because at this point it's all mixed. We just want it to do the kneading work so we don't have to do it by hand. So we're just going to let it go for a couple minutes. Okay, it says to knead it for 5 minutes on the mixer. Then turn it off, let the mixer rest for 10 minutes. Then knead on low again for another 2 minutes. Or until the dough passes a window pane test. Which means that a large lump of dough can stretch until it's translucent without tearing. So, okay, it hasn't been quite 5 minutes, so we'll give it another minute or so. And then it says to let it rest 10 minutes and then come back and turn it on for 2 minutes. I'm excited. This is my first time making bagels from scratch. So, I've made English muffins, buttermilk biscuits, crumpets, Welsh cakes, which I'm going to make a video of those. The crumpets and the Welsh cakes, because they're so good. What else? As far as biscuit. Oh, and I'm also going to be making some donuts from scratch. Stay tuned in the next few videos for some of those. Okay, I think it's been about 5 minutes. So, well, I'm going to take it off the hook. Ooh, it's going to be a sticky dough. Let's take it off. And it says just to let it rest 10 minutes. I may have added a little too much when I added a little extra water, so I might sprinkle just a tiny bit of flour in there. Okay, we're gonna let it rise, or we'll basically set for 10 minutes, and then we'll be back. Okay, it's set for 10 minutes. Now it says to go on low for 2 more minutes. So here we go. All right, it's been 2 minutes. So let's see if it passes the window pane test. Let's just see. Should be able to stretch it. Nope, not yet. I think we need to add a tiny bit of flour because it's real sticky. I mean sticky. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of flour. Just a teensy bit of flour. Okay, it almost passes the window pane test. Not quite. And it is still sticky. So I think I might add a tiny more flour. Let's just do that now. Okay. Okay. I think anymore and we're going to be over mixing. Oh yeah, that's more stretchy now. Oh, it's still not quite the whole window pane thing that they're saying. Almost. Yeah, I guess it kind of is. I think we'll go ahead and go with it. All right. There's our dough. Oh, it's nice. A little bit of a sticky dough. So now we're going to cover it and let it rise for, I believe it said, well, this one said 8 hours, but to put it in the fridge overnight. And I'm not going to do that. Just going to let it rise for a few hours. Okay, I'm going to clean up all this and we will be back to get the other ones out and we'll start shaping them into rounds, and then I'll show you the next process. We'll be back. All right, we're back. The dough was double the size and I just kind of punched it out a little, and I've kind of moved it around a bit. It was a tiny bit dry on top even though I had oiled it, so, and had it covered. But it still looks like a great dough. We are going to just knead a little bit and then take and cut it into 8 equal sized pieces. Now, I haven't been able to find my kitchen scale, so these aren't going to be perfect. But we will give it a try. So we got to make 4. Let's do half and then half. That'll be the best way to do it. Like that. Half and half. This side seems bigger. That's why I said it would be better if you had a scale and you could you know, measure each one, and then you just kind of keep folding them under like that. Just work them a little. So it says to make them into rounds, set them on the parchment, and then cover them again for 10 minutes. Okay, let's see if I can do this whole part. It is nice and stretchy dough. I want to stretch it a little because I want them to be big enough for like a breakfast sandwich. Well, I guess they're gonna rise up. Maybe I should have kept the hole a little smaller. Okay, onto the parchment tray with parchment paper. I'm going to do the same with this one. Just kind of keep rounding it. And these are the ones we're going to do everything, seasoning, and cheddar garlic. Okay, let's see if I can get them into... Oh, these are going to be cool. This is my first time doing this, so... And then we will start boiling the water and add some baking soda to the water to help them cook. I think that's what helps give them a chewy texture. I'm pretty sure that like the New York ones are cooked in lye, but I'm not 100% sure. I just know I heard that. So it's currently Super Bowl Sunday, so if you hear anything in the background, power all over me. Should have worn my apron. There. And one more. And then our other dough is risen. It's doubled up also. But we're doing one at a time because you got to boil them. And then egg wash, put the seasonings, and then put them in the oven. So then we'll get a hold of the other ones. This one feels small. All right, last one. Now we're gonna cover them back up. Grab the towel. Cover them back up for 10 minutes. All right, we're gonna turn this pot on. Get it boiling. Oh, it lit. I just cleaned the stove, so I wasn't sure. We're gonna need that knife for the other dough. We're also going to need 1 egg to make an egg wash. Alright, they're going to sit for 10 minutes. By then the water will be boiling. Then we'll add the baking soda. Got some right here. And then we'll boil them for 2 minutes on each side. And then we'll put all the goodie seasonings. I'm going to use the Kingsford garlic and herb, my favorite. With some cheddar and make cheddar and garlic one. Got some triple cheddar. And then we've got the everything bagel that my husband wanted to try. So we'll do half and half. All right, we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right. We're gonna make an egg wash for after we boil them. Let's give it a little whisk. I might need 2 because the other one makes 12. I better do 2 eggs. This egg. Oh, and we're going to need some kind of spatula to get them in and out of the boiling water. A spoon or something. So it's just starting to boil. We're going to go ahead and add a teaspoon of baking soda. Just sprinkle it in. Okay, the topping for the Panera Copycat Cinnamon Crunch is a half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of regular sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay, we want this to be a full rolling boil. So let's go ahead and make that topping real quick. Can't see my bowl mixture. 1/4 cup of sugar, half a cup of brown sugar. See, now we're coming to a full rolling boil. We're ready. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Well, now it's at a big rolling boil, huh? So this will be our crumbly topping. It's a crunch topping for the cinnamon bagels. Okay, there's our crunch topping. And get a good spoon that I think will be good to get them out. Maybe this flat spatula because it could drain. But basically it says to do 2 minutes on each side. And look, they rose up nicely, so we're gonna go that side. I'm gonna watch the clock. I think I can do 2, well, maybe 3 at a time. Let's do 3. There we go. Okay, we're gonna watch the clock and do 2 minutes. All right, we've been boiling for a minute. So we've got, wow, they're getting big. Maybe 2 at a time would be better. They're like swelling up. Wow, what a trip. This is definitely my first time doing bagels from scratch. A flip. Come on, flipperoo. Wow, these are cool. Okay, we got all 3 flipped. Come on, fit in there. Okay, now 2 minutes on this side. They smell good. Oh, we're supposed to turn the oven on? Whoops, almost forgot. It says 425. I'm gonna do 400 because my oven can run hot. Okay, we're almost there. Now we just have to do this about 3 more times and then get the cinnamon ones. Okay, they are done. 2 minutes on each side. Wow, they really puffed up fat. They're cool. Dun dun dun. That's the slotted spoon worked out because it allows them to drain. Okay. Let's add the next. I think I'll only do 2 at a time because they were really got fat. Heck with it. That one looks smaller. I'm gonna go for it. Alright. Otherwise we'll be here all night. Ooh, and hot. 1 more minute for these. Very cool. Alright. I'm going to do the rest and we'll be back. Alright, so we've gotten, well, there's 2 more boiling, but I wanted to show you them. Got them out of the water. They're kind of sticky on top, so if you didn't want to brush them with egg, I think stuff would still stick to them. But I'm going to, ooh, that's getting hot. I'm going to go ahead and brush them with egg. I don't have a lot of room here. So I'll set them there. These ones have 1 more minute before we flip. Oh, they smell so good. So I don't know if you guys can see way over here, but we're just going to brush with egg on top and then add our seasoning so that the seasoning sticks. Do a couple with the everything. I'm going to put lots. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah. I think my husband will like those. I think the garlic, herb, cheddar ones are going to be bomb. Real bomb. Okay. Seasoning. Then it's time to... And I love onion bagels. Those are so good, especially like make a sandwich with them. Okay, these guys need a flip. I'm doing 2 at a time, that way they get nice and covered and the egg doesn't dry out. All right, look at that. Show you. Oh, look at those. All right. Make some room for the other 2. Now this one's a little bit doughy and weird. It didn't like rise up as good as the other ones. Not sure why. Okay, I'm going to turn this boiling water off for a minute because we don't have the other ones ready yet. So no point in, you know, wasting that. All right, there we go. And then in the oven they'll go. It's supposed to be 425 for, I think it said 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm keeping it at 400 because, like I said, my oven seems to cook a little hot. And I don't want to burn the bottom of it. Okay. We'll do 2 at a time of these. Let's get some Kingsford garlic and herb. Oh, those are going to be delicious. Let's get the triple cheddar. Actually, hold on a second. I'm going to do something here. Well, let's see. Can you guys see it? Yeah. Okay. Let's put the triple cheddar on top. Oh, yeah. Look at that. So this one, it doesn't really have a hole. It's kind of sealed up, all of them. But you know what? My husband would probably make a breakfast sandwich anyways with these, so it's okay. And this one came out a little rubbery. Okay. Last 2. Maybe it'll be fine once it bakes. We'll see. But for my first time making bagels, I'm pretty proud of these. Those are going to be some seasoned bagels. Okay. Lots of cheddar. This triple cheddar is so good. It's got a bunch of it. It's already melting. All right. Now into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. We'll check on it. And we'll be back. Now we'll roll out these cinnamon ones the same exact way and then cover them. So we'll be back. Okay, now this one says it makes 12. So 6 on each side, which it is a bigger dough. These pass the window pane test now. Okay. Now we're going to cover them. Let them rise again. So I'm going to set them aside so I can start my rice for dinner. All right, everyone. Got them out of the oven. And they've cooled down a few seconds. Oh my gosh, look at them. And they're soft. They're a little hot. Oh man, look at them. They feel like they're going to be chewy like a good bagel. All right, next is to finish up the cinnamon ones. But there's our everything bagel. And, ooh, it's hot. The cheddar, garlic and herb with cheddar. All right, we'll be back to show you the cinnamon ones. All right, we just took them out of the oven. Cinnamon crunch. They're still soft, but I'm sure they're going to harden up a little. I'm going to let them cool down for a while. Mm-hmm.